All right, we are just about ready to begin. I hope everybody can hear me okay. If anybody doesn't hear me, just put a quick message in the chat. All right, so right before we begin, as always, we'd like to thank the Kellogg Foundation and the Kappa Foundation for sponsoring the Diamonds in the Rough webinar series. Good evening. My name is Tony Harrison. I'm a member of the Alexandria Fairfax, Virginia Alumni Chapter, Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity. I serve as the Eastern Province Guide Right Chair and the Kappa Alpha Psi STEM Committee Chair. Very excited to have everybody here this evening for our fourth Diamonds in the Rough NSBE Jr webinar. A little background before we begin. Kappa Alpha Psi and the National Society of Black Engineers recently signed a 3-year Memo of Understanding outlining the collaboration of NSBE and Kappa Alpha Psi to reach the primary goal of increasing the number of African American bachelor's degree recipients in engineering to 10,000 annually by 2025. With the agreement, NSBE and Kappa have pledged to promote and facilitate STEM education and career readiness for pre-college students. Kappa Psi established 6 regional guide-right NSBE Jr chapters to provide students in grades 3 to 12 with supplemental STEM curricula and exposure to STEM concepts and career opportunities. Our goal this year is to enroll 1,000 guide-right students in NSBE Jr, so we certainly want everybody on the phone after you get this great information this evening to begin enrolling your students in our Kappa Alpha Psi and NSBE Jr programs. So tonight, our presenters will be Brittany Boyd, manager of the pre-college programs of the National Society of Black Engineers, and David Bernardo, programs coordinator for the pre-college initiative. With that, I believe I will be turning the presentation over to Mr. David Bernardo.
Okay. First off, thank you for the introduction. Thank you guys for taking the time out to be present for the presentation. So I'm just going to give you a quick run through NSBE Jr and our program portfolio and some of the things that we can offer the students that you are able to enroll into NSBE Jr. And slide. So the slide you see now is the logos of all the programs that we can offer. We have programs ranging from kindergarten all the way through 12th grade. And I'm going to run you through each program with a brief description, and I'm going to do it in order of grade level, so we'll kind of go from kindergarten all the way up through the programs we offer for elementary, middle school, and into high school. I'm also going to give you a quick overview of how our registration process was this year, just so you can get an idea of the timeline that you'll have next year when we come to register your students for our programs. Slide. Okay, so the steps to register for PCI programs, there's 2 ways that you can do it. We send out frequent emails to our chapter advisors with reminders to register for our programs, and each email will have links to the program applications and instructions to register. A very important thing that you want to be sure of is the majority of our programs, once you register with us, you'll also need to register with a program partner. And that's something I'll discuss a little bit further when I get into the program breakdown. But that's something you want to make sure that you stay on top of, that you not only register with us, but you register with that appropriate program partner. And the second way is if you're ever on the NSBE Jr website, we update that every year with information around programs. It'll also have links to register, the demographic of the program, any background information you need on the program, and also our 2017-2018 rulebook. The 2017-2018 rulebook is on the website, and it's also included in this presentation. I believe that it will be shared with you. So you can just go through the program, and I'm just going to give you an overview of all our programs, but that'll be a way where you can get more detailed information on programs that you may be interested in. Also, the process of registering and the things that you need to have to compete and participate in the programs. Slide. So to get into PCI registration, This is an example of our website, of course, and on the left side you'll see the programs listed that are available, and on the right side you'll see a snapshot of what it looks like when you get inside of one of the links. So this link that you'll see here is for for First LEGO League Junior, and you'll see what the goal of the program is, the eligibility requirements, and you'll also have a link to the rulebook as well as the page to register. Slide. So going straight from that, we're going to go into First LEGO League Junior. First LEGO League Junior is a program that is for kids kindergarten through 4th grade. They use teams. Hold on. So you use teams of 2 to 6, and what they do is they give each team of children a real-world project to explore, to do a project and a presentation on. And they use Lego as a way of having the kids be familiar, and they do this presentation during annual convention. The program is gold. The goal of the program is to have kids learn about research, teamwork, construction, and imagination. This program is used in tandem with First LEGO League, which is something I'll discuss next. And both of these programs have an identical theme, and First LEGO League Junior is adapted for grade level. So, for example, last year, the goal of the project, the theme was animals and how animals relate to human beings. And this year, the theme is water and how water helps to sustain a community and its importance. Next year, the theme is a space theme. So First LEGO League, they'll have a theme that is, this year is about water, and so will First LEGO League. And with that, I'll go into the next slide. So First LEGO League is a program that's geared for children grades 4 through 8, and it's basically what you want your kids to matriculate from First LEGO League Junior into First LEGO League. And they're given a real world challenge, and it's used First LEGO League based robots. So what you'll see in this picture is this is called the robot game. There's also a presentation that's done there. There's an oral part of the competition, and this is one of the first robotics programs that we have. First LEGO League Junior and First LEGO League are the first ways to get your kids introduced into robotics, if that's something that you're looking for. NSBE is unique because we have something that's called our own region, and with First LEGO League, you're only able to compete within our region. So that means the only time you're actually eligible to compete for an actual sanctioned competition will be at convention. However, you're encouraged to participate in as many local scrimmages to sharpen your team skills, because the winner of our First LEGO League competition qualifies for a spot at World Festival. World Festival is basically a world competition where they have all the winning teams from other regions come in and compete. There are 2 World Festival competitions this year. There's one in Detroit and there's one in Houston. So if anyone is willing to volunteer to get an idea what those look like, please let me know after the call, and I can get you signed up to volunteer just so you can get an idea of what that looks like. And so you definitely want to have your kids have an opportunity to scrimmage in their local area so they're able to be ready to compete on that world stage. Slide. Another one of our programs, and this is one of our newest programs for elementary and middle school students, grades 3 through 8, is VEX IQ. And VEX IQ is similar to First LEGO League Junior as it relates to another program we have called VEX Robotics, which I'll also cover very shortly. So it's a fun way to introduce your students into robotics. It doesn't give you that same theme as far as real world application as you would get from First LEGO League Junior and First LEGO League. This one is more about challenge, and there's a game, and you want to develop your teamwork and your leadership skills. There's an actual each year there's a different game, but it's the same idea. So you're not getting the integration of real world application. This is strictly a robotics competition as far as having your robot being the best robot on the field. And this also, like I said, it works in tandem with VEX Robotics, which I'll also cover shortly. Slide. So the next program is MATHCOUNTS, which is a math program that's built to build your kids' math skills and logical thinking. You definitely want to sharpen your kids' analytical abilities. So it's for kids grades 6 through 8. You'll see in this presentation there's a link to the MATHCOUNTS handbook, which just gives you just some resources to help your kids practice. We have a MATHCOUNTS competition at our annual convention, and it's just really a way to introduce your middle school kids to mathematics. Slide. And also with that, we have MATHVIDEO Challenge, which is for kids grades 6 through 8. And it's a very creative program that has your kids take a real world solution to a problem from MATHCOUNTS handbook and find a way to solve it. So they record a video to solve the problem. And for example, you can't see this video, but I'll make sure it's available within the presentation. They basically they were kids and they were scouting players. They were using the math skills that they were needed to do that, to make math fun. So it's a really creative program. They make videos and it's a lot of fun for your kids. But we also don't hold a competition for that at convention. That's just something that they will do themselves for MATHVIDEO and submit. Slide. So one of our new programs is Future Cities for kids grades 6 through 8. And this is another one of the programs that gives you some real world application of having to solve a problem. So they use SimCity software and they build a city and they explore the engineering ideas of the city. And they also do oral presentation as well as written submission. And they really use their imagination to solve some of those real world issues using the SimCity software. And that is created to focus on their creative thinking and their problem solving. Just another fun way to do that, to have them look at problems a different way. Slide. So our next program is NSBE Jr Explores Technical Innovation Competition. So this is one of the programs we're going to get into, programs that are available for middle school children and your high school students. So this program is available for students grades 6 through 12. They can compete individually or as a group. And it basically allows students to explore science through a project format and also do an oral presentation. So they will write an abstract, they'll write a research paper, and when they get to annual convention, they will also do an oral presentation and be scored on that. It's very similar to a science fair, but it just gives students, whether they're individual or a team at the middle school or high school level, an opportunity to explore a problem of their choosing. Slide. So our next program is the 1080 Student Racing Challenge, also known as the 1080 STEM Initiative. There's a middle school level and a high school level. Students, they create racing teams, so it's more than just a race car program or competition. They also create an entire model of a motorsport team. So they come up with a marketing plan, they design the car, they come up with an entire enterprise project that they will also present orally to be scored, as well as the racing competition. So it's more than just a racing competition. It's also a holistic program allowing them to be creative and look at the business side of the racing instead of just the actual competition. Slide. Okay. So the KidWind Challenge is a renewable energy program where kids basically build a small turbine and they compete at annual convention with that. So they learn a lot of those engineering concepts of renewable energy. They will compete with this at annual convention, and this is for your high school students, grades 9 through 12. I have links to the KidWind Challenge in the presentation, and at the end I also have some important links for you guys that you can take away and learn some more about the programs. And also there's more information as far as the rubric and how everything is scored within the PCI rulebook, which will be available at the end of the presentation. Slide. So then this is the VEX Robotics Competition. This is one of the things I talked about as far as working in tandem with VEX IQ. So if you choose to take this track, you would have your students hopefully compete in VEX IQ. And as they age out of that program, go into VEX Robotics, which is a more competitive robotics program. And it's very similar where the challenge changes every year. There's a different game. Also with VEX Robotics, we also qualify for a world championship spot. That program will be in Louisville, Kentucky this year. And once again, if anyone is available to volunteer just to see what that looks like, that just let me know after the presentation, and I can also link you up with our partner there. Once again, as we have our own region, but the thing that is different than First Lego League is teams are expected to compete locally whenever possible. So if you want your team to be more competitive and more successful, it's definitely recommended that you compete within your region. Within your area. You are able to compete at other competitions and still compete in Pittsburgh or wherever our convention will be, whichever you choose to compete. But that's very important, where in First Lego League, if you choose to do that one, that would disqualify you if you participate locally. With VEX Robotics, you are able to compete with us and compete locally. Slide. So TRY-MATH-A-LON is a NSBE Senior signature program. It's 4-year students, grade 9 through 12. It's broken into 2 divisions. So we have our upper division, which would be your 11th and 12th graders, and lower division, which would be 9th and 10th. And the idea of this program is to prepare your students for standardized exams. So the ACT and the SAT, to really prepare them for the math that they're going to need to take, and have those tests not be as daunting to them. So this is a program that is very popular. Compete in teams of 4, and it just really prepares your kids for that math that they're going to be taking going into the upper levels of high school and to college. Slide. So with that said, we also have fall regional conferences. They're held in each region, and I'll cover where those were this year, just so you can get an idea of the type of travel that will be required. So these are 2 days long, and that's where you get to network and meet with other chapters within your region. We don't, as of right now, we don't have any of our competitions that have qualifiers at FRCs. So what we want to do is we want to have as many competition scrimmages as possible. So the goal is to have a TRY-MATH-A-LON or a TMAL competition at every FRC, or some will have a 1080 competition. It just all depends on the region. There's not anything standardized. It's just really, that's information you have to get each year to see what's offered. Also, they also have the science fairs and group projects and workshops available for your students. Slide.
Sorry, did you call for slide?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, slide.
Okay, thanks.
And so all that goes right into annual convention, and that's what you'll hear me talk a lot about in all the programs that I've gone over so far. We offer a competition at annual convention, except for MATHVIDEO challenge. So that's 3 days long. You have plenty of competitions. You have keynote speakers. The kids are fed. We have activities and entertainment. There's a prom for your students. There's each year it'll be different, but the goal is to really celebrate your students and prepare them for college. And there's workshops as well as the career fair innovation series and our pre-torch awards, which is kind of like our celebration banquet for your kids. That's when they receive their awards, and it's really exciting to see the kids win their awards and get excited about the work they've done, whether they've won an award or not, just to really give them a chance to celebrate the work they've done throughout the year. Slide. So like I said, this is the 2017 FRC schedule from this year. So you'll see each region, the dates, and the city that the FRCs were held in, as well as the location and the dates for annual convention this year, which will be in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania this March. Just to give you an idea of where these conventions were this year. I don't have the information where they are next year, but if anyone needs that, let me know and I get that information for you. Slide. So with that said, I definitely want us to have an open discussion, and this page will have links for you. So the rule book is available, as well as the websites for all the programs that I discussed throughout the presentation. Also, there's another presentation I need to send to Tony that has videos for each competition, just so you can see what that looks like. So if it's first Lego League, the robot game, so you can see what that looks like, or VEX Robotics, so you can see what those competitions look like. If you're unable to attend, if you are interested in attending an event in your area, feel free to send me an email at PCI@NSBE.org. That gives me an opportunity to look up a competition for you. And if you just want to go and observe one, or if you want to volunteer, I can definitely find something in your area for you, so that your kids are equipped and you're equipped to lead your teams in the next program year. So with that said, I want to open the floor for any questions that anybody may have.
Okay, I'm going to look through the questions and see what we have anything so far.
Okay.
Let's see. Let's give it a second. Okay. Question was, where's the presentation? Give me 1 second. I will upload that now.
And Tony, also, I'm going to send you another presentation with videos included, if you think that would be helpful, just so everybody can see what these competitions look like, especially the robotics competitions, so they have an idea what to expect if they do decide to compete.
Okay, so second question, now Isaiah, where are the Lawrenceville Doolittle? He's in Lawrenceville Doolittle, Georgia, and the question was, are there teams there? Question. Let me get this
okay.
And I'll load it while you answer that question.
Okay, so as far as teams, it depends on the program we have. And I'm not too familiar with what part of Georgia that's in, but I know we do have teams that are competing from Georgia. I'm just not sure how far they are in relation to you. But we do have teams that compete from Georgia in FIRST, in VEX, in 1080, in TRY-MATH-A-LON. We definitely have teams from Georgia, but I'm just not sure how far Duluth is from those teams.
Okay. That question was answered. It's the Atlanta metro area.
Atlanta, we actually do. We just had, I know we have a chapter that competes at Arabia Mountain High School, Chamblee High School, and we just had a chapter formed by the Atlanta professionals. It's a Atlanta Metro Citywide chapter, and they're competing in VEX Robotics, VEX IQ, and I believe 1080 and TRY-MATH-A-LON, but please don't quote me on that. But we definitely have a chapter available in the Atlanta metro area. So whether it is you have kids that want to, if you want to make contact with that chapter, just get some guidance, I can definitely connect you with them. But Atlanta is definitely somewhere we have teams that compete.
Okay, I'm going to, and just everybody just give me 1 second. I'm going to be pulling up the, uploading the presentation. I want to get to these questions. NSBE Jr. chapter in the Petersburg area. I know that, and that was Scott Johnson asking that question. I know there's a chapter that, and we were there as well when we did the STEM law program in Richmond at Virginia Commonwealth. But can you give them a little bit of information about any NSBE chapters, NSBE Jr. chapters in the Petersburg area?
In the Petersburg area, I'm looking through my list of chapters. I'm not sure. Some of the chapters we have are, I'm not sure of the counties. I have an Albemarle County. I have one in Dahlgren, Chester, Virginia, Martinsville, Virginia, Ringgold, Virginia. And some of the chapters have been formed pretty recently, so they might not be on my list. So if you want to, feel free to send me an email to PCI@NSBE.org, and I can look into that for you also.
Okay. And also the question was about Southern California.
So we definitely have some chapters available in Southern California. So the easiest way probably for anybody who has questions about chapter locations, just send me an email to PCI-NSBE.org, so that way I can send you an email with the exact chapters. So I know we have multiple chapters in the Southern California area. And instead of listing them off, I'd rather just give you a more personal email. So it's easy if anybody has questions about that. That would be PCI-NSBE.org, and I'll get to it as soon as I get it.
Okay. Do we have any more questions? I know we have a couple of people on the line, and Anthony Lee, who asked the question, he is for our Kappa Guidewright regional chapters. He is out in California, which is our region 6 for us. But Anthony Lee has chartered a NSBE Jr chapter in San Fernando, Santa Clarita. I always mix that up, but they've been doing a great job. So Richard King, I have not forgot about uploading. I'm just trying to share the screen and upload at the same time. Oh, and I did miss a question from Scott Johnson about the dates and location for volunteer opportunities.
Okay, so depending on the program, if it is with, like I was saying, if it's for the World Festival or the World Championship competition for VEX Robotics, I actually need to look that up. Once again, just send me an email at PCI-NSBE.org and I can send that to you. I know that the locations for one is in Houston, and the other World Festival for First Lego League is in Detroit. And for VEX Robotics, that championship for VEX IQ and VEX Robotics is in Louisville, Kentucky. The dates I need to look up, but I can provide that information if you just send me an email.
Okay. Brother Marlon Ridley, did you have any questions or comments while you're on the line?
I do. So for the attendees, can you share with us the amount or the cost that's associated with a few of these events like VEX 1080?
Okay. So I'll just go back through as far as that. So looking through the program, First Lego League Junior, each program, depending on our budget, we are able to provide some money to sponsor the teams. So there may be a cost as far as registration for each program. So also in the links that you see, there will be information on how to start a team. So with First Lego League, I know the registration is $99. First Lego League Junior. For First Lego League is $225, and there's also a robot kit that you need to purchase. I can't say what level of sponsorship that we will be able to provide, but I just want you to have an accurate depiction of what it might be. Give me 1 second. I want to say, I'm actually pulling up that information for you now. Okay. So first,
I'm sorry. That handout is now uploaded. So if you've got the menu open under handouts, you'll see the presentation, and I'll also send the presentation out via email. And also remember that this recording is this webinar is being recorded as well, and we'll get the copy of the webinar sent to everybody as well.
Awesome. Okay. So First Lego League, like I said, First Lego League Junior is $99 for the registration, and there's a starter set that will run you about $200. The one thing about First Lego League Junior is, well, the robot you use will be a WeDo 2.0, and you can use that for multiple years. For First Lego League, the registration is $225, and the robot set it will run you about $450. And once again, that's something that you can use for multiple years. For TRY-MATH-A-LON,
David, you still there? Hello, David, you still there?
It actually don't look at the sleeves.
David, you still there?
Weird.
Just say that you didn't realize that the cost was going to be so difficult and it's weighing you down.
Hold on. Hello?
Everybody, just bear with us for a second. I think we lost our presenter. Okay. Okay, let's see if we can find how we get him back here. David, can we hear you? Can we hear you? I think you might have us muted.
Okay, hello?
Okay, you there now?
Okay, now you can hear me. Okay.
Okay.
I'm sorry, what was the last thing you guys heard me say?
I think there was a question about the costs.
Okay, so I was running through some of the costs for the programs. I think the last one I was on was $1080, and that one will run you about $800 for a team, but you also will get a car kit and access to the online curriculum. VEX Robotics, the registration is $150 for a team, and that robot will cost you between $450 and $500. And once again, like for VEX Robotics, the program or the game changes every year, but the robot doesn't. So you can use these robots for multiple years. Our robotics programs are definitely our most expensive, but they also end up being some of our most popular as well. I can't say what level of sponsorship we would be able to provide, if any, next year. Just want to give you guys the actual cost of what you could possibly be looking at without any sponsorship at all.
Did we have any more questions? So for everybody that's on this webinar, as I mentioned, this webinar is being recorded. If you got any questions about the NSBE Jr program, if you want to get involved with if you're a guide right directly on the call and you got the bandwidth to create your own NSBE Jr chapter, or if you want us to create and find programming for you, you can easily join one of our 6 Kappa Guide Right regional NSBE Jr chapters. We just completed a webinar last month on how to register. If you need some additional help, you can reach out to me. The best email to reach is kappastem@gmail.com, and I'll put you in contact with either one of your area regional advisors, or we can help you out as well. So that is, we'll be glad to help you, know, whether you're in Georgia or you're in, I know we got California on the line. I'm not sure where everybody's from, but we're definitely here to help you. I think we may have one more. Okay, give me 1 second. Okay. That should bring Brittany Boyd. Are you online? Let's see. Hello, Brittany, are you there? Okay. Okay.
Yes, I am here.
Okay. And there was one other question. I don't know if we got to that question. What type of support can a non-technical advisor expect with their teams?
Yeah, and to answer that question, if you are a first-time advisor and you're signing up to participate in programs, there are guidelines. So every year and every program that we have has a rule book. So it'll walk you through, depending on the competition, how to do everything. So we don't so most of our advisors are actually teachers and not always in STEM fields. So the curriculum is really built for each of our competitions in ways that anyone could understand. We also like to connect our chapters with local NSBE professionals as well if they would like that resource.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Kylie,
And we've got one more question. Give me 1 second. The name of the presenter is David Varnado. He's the programs coordinator and the pre-college initiative. You just heard from Brittany Boyd. She's the manager of pre-college programs. And David, could you repeat your email address one more time?
Absolutely. Any emails you want to send me, you can send it to pci@nsbe.org, and I check it pretty frequently, and I get back to you really soon.
Great. Brother Viney, are you still on the call?
Sure, sorry, I had a problem with the mute button. I'm here.
Yeah, the mute has been a little tricky this evening, but I think we're working our way through it. But for those on the call, Brother Elmani Viney is the Kappa Alpha Psi Foundation Executive Director, and want to give you a chance to make some comments or questions.
Well, I wanted to thank everybody that has joined the call. Once again, we know the state of STEM, and we understand the state of STEM. We understand the need for more young men. As a matter of fact, more young men and young women of color to enter into these fields. And we also understand our ability and capacity to be a pipeline for that, for not just the career field itself, but for those colleges and universities that are also in need. So I'm really excited. You know, I love the leadership under you, Brother Harrison, Brother Ridley, all brothers that's with the STEM team, as well as the National Guide Right Committee. Does anybody have any questions for me from the philanthropic arm of this work through the Kappa Foundation?
I'm checking for questions. Okay. I did want to make one comment. You know, we've got our 6 Kappa regional area chapters that we created, and our regional 2 advisor will be in Pittsburgh, actually making a presentation this year. So we're looking forward to seeing Brother Michael Edwards is going to be doing a STEM panic room. Very interested to see how that's going to work out. As well as I think they are potentially going to host a Sikh camp this summer in the Richmond area. So we're looking forward to the great work that he's doing down there. And I know Scott Johnson from Petersburg and I participated in some of their activities as well. And I know we're continuing to grow. We're going to be very aggressive moving from December, our webinar on signups, in January, our programs. And now we've done about 5 webinars. I think this is going to be the last one. Now we're in execution mode. We want to get as many of our guide right students across the country involved with NSBE Jr. That is going to be our heavy push. So again, if either David or Brittany just expand on the benefits. I know it is the best $5 you can possibly spend on your son, your daughter, or your guide right student for what you're going to get as a member. Can you cover just a couple of those before we close out?
Well, actually, Brother Harrison, if you don't mind, I'm sorry, if I can just jump in for 1 second.
Okay.
What is the date for the National NSBE? What is the date for the National NSBE Conference?
Our annual convention is March 21st through the 25th in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Okay, and have we decided what our projected goal of number of Kappa Leaguers in STEM that we're looking to take up there, and what that cost would be?
We have not put that together yet. That is one of the next steps after we get through this webinar to see, particularly in the Pittsburgh area, to find out how many students and chapters are interested in bringing students to Pittsburgh. So we'll be working on that very shortly.
Okay. Because yeah, just let me know.
Will do.
Okay.
Okay. And to answer the question earlier, NSBE Jr. really gives your kids an opportunity to, especially at the younger age, to get in on the ground level of so many opportunities that are available. So academic excellence and leadership and development, develop them as students and into professionals. It gives them access to a lot of our mentoring we have available. Like we discussed, our STEM programming, and it prepares them for college. There's scholarships that they can apply for once they're an NSBE Junior member. They also get just the opportunity to really, like you said, to get involved in STEM, and this field is really important. So it's just really get them in on the ground level of a lot of amazing opportunities.
All right, and then I just wanted to address a question from Richard King. He wanted us to go through the steps that a local guide right chapter should go through to establish a local NSBE Junior relationship. Do we join through Kappa or through an existing local chapter? What we're trying to do with this partnership with NSBE is to, if one of two things. If your chapter has the bandwidth to create their own NSBE Junior chapter, or we can have you sign up through one of our regional chapters. That way we can work with you, we can track you, we can combine that with our efforts through Naviance, and then the Kappa Foundation can track how many Kappa guide right students we have involved with NSBE Junior. So we've, as I mentioned before, we've done about, this will be the 5th webinar we've done. So I can get you links to the webinar to give you step by step. I've got screenshots on how to do to sign up, to create an account and get your student signed in the NSBE Jr. So if you, Richard King, would just post your email address in the questions, I will make sure we get that information to you. And also let me know what city you're in. Ann Arbor. Well, I think we have covered what we set out to accomplish. I've uploaded the file, the presentation for this evening. I want to give our presenters back as much time as possible and thank them for taking time. You know, as I mentioned, we did one webinar last month. We've got this one now. We're full steam ahead. Any final comments from Brittany or David?
Just real quick, I want to, like I said, thank you guys for taking the time out, and just know that it may seem like a lot, but you have support from the World Headquarters staff. And like I said, with PCI and NSBE.org, any questions you have, any guidance you need that I can provide, I'm more than willing to help out. Just let me know.
All right, with that, we'll go ahead and close out for the evening. Again, as always, we want to thank the Kellogg Foundation and the Kappa Psi Foundation for sponsoring the Diamonds in the Rough webinar series. Just a program note, I know there's scheduled next week. There is a webinar on NAVIONTS, so please look for that information to come if you have not already received it. But once again, I want to thank our presenters. I want to thank Marlon Ridley. I want to thank Elmani Viney for their support. And we look forward to speaking with everybody and getting your students involved with, if you're not already in GuideRight, but with our NSBE Jr chapters. And we will be speaking with you shortly. Good evening.